Finding the perfect t-shirt can feel like a Goldilocks problem. This one's too boxy, that one's too short, this one fits great, until it falls apart after a few washes. But when you sew your own, you control everything. The fit, the fabric, and all those little details that make it a t-shirt you actually love wearing. Today I'm making the Seamwork Morgan tee, a new fitted crew neck pattern I've been excited to try, and I'm walking you through every single step. I'm Sarai, and I've been sewing for almost 30 years and teaching you how to create a meaningful custom wardrobe for the last 15. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to sew a fitted knit tee from start to finish. And I'll show you my favorite neckband technique for getting a perfectly flat neckline every single time. First, let's pick out a t-shirt pattern to use. Personally, I love the versatility of a fitted t-shirt. In the cooler months, I practically live in the long sleeve Alice tee as a base layer, and I knew I wanted the summer equivalent. Morgan is that tee for me. It's close fitting all the way through, it hits just below the high hip so it's long enough to tuck or wear out, and it pairs with basically everything. High-rise jeans, a midi skirt under a blazer. The construction is simple enough for beginners, but the results look intentional. So even if knit fabrics have always made you a little nervous, Morgan is a great place to start. And if a fitted tee isn't for you right now, I'll share some other options in a minute. Don't worry, these step-by-step instructions will work for any t-shirt you want to make. Here's something I love about this pattern. The supply list is genuinely short. All you really need is all-purpose polyester thread and a ballpoint or jersey needle. That's it. Some helpful extras are fabric clips, wonder tape, and a twin needle for your hems. You might also want some 1/4-inch clear elastic or a little bit of knit interfacing. These aren't absolutely necessary, but I'd recommend them. I'll show you how I use them as we go through the steps, but they're all optional. You might be wondering, what about a serger? Do I need one to sew a t-shirt? A serger does make things fast and easy, and it's what I use for all my knits. But a simple top like this can easily be sewn in your regular sewing machine using a zigzag or stretch stitch. Just make sure to test your stitches first on some scraps and consider using a walking foot if you have one. For fabric, you want a medium weight knit with at least 50% four-way stretch. Cotton jersey, bamboo jersey, rib knits, French terry, pointelle, they all work beautifully here. The key is four-way stretch, meaning the fabric stretches both horizontally and vertically. That's what gives a fitted tee its shape without feeling like you're being squeezed. I'm using a white pointelle knit for my stash for this version. Pointelle has this really delicate, almost lacy texture from the little eyelets woven into it, and it feels a little special without being fussy. It's exactly the kind of fabric that gets better the more you wash it. Speaking of choosing the right knit, if you've ever stood in a fabric shop completely overwhelmed by all the jerseys and not knowing which one to grab, I have something that'll help. We put together a jersey knit cheat sheet that covers 5 essential tips for choosing the right jersey for your project and sewing it with confidence. It walks you through how to avoid the most common jersey pitfalls: stretched out seams, curling edges, shrinkage disasters, all of it. It's free and I'll link it in the description. Okay, now I'm going to walk you through each step and you can follow along as I make my own. Let's head out to the sewing shed and get started. Before you cut a single thing, do the stretch test. Pull your fabric horizontally and then release it. Watch what happens. For a fitted tee like Morgan, you need fabric with good recovery, meaning it bounces back to its original shape after being stretched. If it stays stretched out, keep looking. Recovery is what stops a tee from going baggy on you by noon. When you're ready to cut, I really recommend a rotary cutter if you have one. Scissors can drag and shift knit fabric as you cut, which throws off your dimensions without even realizing it. The rotary cutter just glides through. By the way, when my pattern paper curls from being rolled up, I like to press it with a warm, dry iron to get it flat. It makes it much easier to lay flat and cut. Follow your cutting layout and cut on the fold where indicated. Now, I was actually using a weird irregular scrap, so the regular cutting layout wouldn't work for my fabric. Instead, I folded it into thirds and had just enough to fit all my pieces. Be sure to transfer all your markings. Don't skip the notches. I know they're fiddly, but they are your roadmap for lining everything up accurately. You'll thank yourself later. For knits, I like to cut my notches outwards. They're easy to see and don't disrupt the narrow seam allowance. Let's start by sewing the shoulder seams. With right sides together, align the front and back at one shoulder seam and pin. Now here's a crucial step that I always include on knit tops: stabilizing the shoulder seams. Shoulder seams are the first place knit tops tend to stretch out. Stabilizing adds reinforcement so the seams spring back into shape. To do this, you just add a strip of knit interfacing, stabilizer, or clear elastic to the shoulder seam before you sew. It's a quick extra step that adds just enough structure to keep the seam from stretching out. Once your stabilizer is added, sew each shoulder seam. Then press those seam allowances toward the back. That pressing direction is more important than it might seem. Pressing toward the back keeps the seam from rolling forward and showing on the outside of the finished tee. It takes maybe 30 extra seconds, and it makes a real difference in how the finished shoulder sits. Now for the neckband, which is one of my favorite details on this pattern. Here's a tip that'll help you get a perfectly flat result every time. Stretch the band slightly as you pin, not as you sew. Start by bringing the short ends of the neckband together with right sides facing, pin and sew. Press those seam allowances to one side. Then fold the neckband wrong sides together lengthwise and baste the raw edges together using a long zigzag stitch. Place the neckband against the neckline of your tee, matching the neckband seam to the notches on the back. Pin all the way around, stretching the band slightly to fit the neckline as you go. I like using fabric clips here to hold everything in place. They don't create holes like pins might in delicate knits, and I don't have to worry about accidentally sewing over them. But my favorite option is Wonder Tape, a water-soluble, wash-away, double-sided tape. Just apply the tape all the way around the neckline, then slightly stretch the band as you tack it down into place. The tape will hold everything securely, and the band will be eased in evenly all the way around. Best of all, since the tape is stable, it'll prevent a stretched out neckband. Sew, then press the neckband away from the tee and the seam allowances toward the tee. Finally, top stitch just below the neckband with a twin needle or zigzag, catching those seam allowances in the stitching. That top stitching is what holds everything in place and gives you that clean, finished look on the outside. Once you're stitching, just guide the fabric and let the machine do its thing. If your neckband comes out wavy, pulling while you sew is almost always what's behind it. Once again, that's one reason I love Wonder Tape. It prevents any accidental pulling. One more thing about this neckline. I think it would look really pretty with a shell tuck edge along the neckline or hem. It's a really simple technique that adds such a lovely, delicate touch, especially with a pointelle like this. We actually have a video on how to do that, and I'll link it below if you want to try it yourself. Now, if you're not a fan of a crew neck, or if you want a different fit on your t-shirt, you have lots of other options. The bonus version of Morgan has a V-neck, which is more of an intermediate option when it comes to knits, but it's worth mastering if that's your preferred neckline. If a scoop neck and cap sleeves is what you're after, the Orlando is just as easy to sew as Morgan, so that's another great option. And if you like a classic t-shirt with a relaxed fit and crew neckline, check out the Jane Tee. It's a true basic that's easy to modify to your own preferences. Here's a trick I always use before setting in sleeves. Finish the raw edge of each sleeve first before the side seams are closed. Don't hem it yet, just finish the edges so they'll be ready to hem later. I know it feels like an odd moment to do it, but try it once and you'll never go back. Working on a flat piece of fabric is so much easier than wrangling a closed tube. Now here's where I'm going to share one of my favorite techniques for setting knit sleeves perfectly every time. With right sides together and notches matched, align the circle on your sleeve cap with the shoulder seam. But instead of trying to sew the entire sleeve in one go, start at that circle in the middle and stitch toward one edge. Then go back to the circle and stitch toward the other edge. This prevents the sleeve from shifting forward or back in the armhole, so you know the top of the sleeve cap is perfectly aligned with the shoulder seam. Again, I use fabric clips to hold everything in place. It's such a small change to the order of operations, but the difference in how the sleeve hangs is really noticeable. Once you try it this way, you won't go back. Sew and press those seam allowances toward the sleeve. Then align your sleeve seam edges with your side seam edges and stitch in one continuous seam all the way from the sleeve hem down through the body. Now try it on. Knits are forgiving, but it's always easier to catch anything now than after you've hemmed. Check the shoulder placement, the sleeve length, and the body length. I loved the way it looked at this point. The fit is just the way I wanted it, and the fabric I used is so nice and stretchy. It's really comfy and soft. And if you're finding that your fabric is behaving a little unpredictably, maybe it's curling at the edges or the seams are stretching out, that jersey knit cheat sheet I mentioned earlier is genuinely useful here. It covers exactly those situations, including how to adjust your approach based on the specific fabric you're working with. Links in the description. This last step is what takes your tee from almost finished to something you'd actually want to wear out the door. For the sleeves, fold the hem to the wrong side at 3/8 of an inch and press. To hold your hem in place, you can use pins or use Wonder Tape like I do. I almost always use Wonder Tape on my knit hems because this double-sided tape holds everything in place, keeps the fabric from stretching out as you stitch, and dissolves completely once you wash it. Turn right side out and stitch at 1/4 inch using your twin needle or a zigzag, then press. The twin needle creates this beautiful stretchy hem that looks incredibly polished. If you don't have one, a zigzag works perfectly fine. Just make sure your tension is balanced so you don't get any puckering. Personally, I like to use a 3-step zigzag because it's even stretchier. I just make sure to test out my stitches on some scrap fabric beforehand. For the body hem, finish the raw edge first with your serger or zigzag, then fold to the wrong side at 3/8 of an inch, pin or hold in place with Wonder Tape, and stitch at 1/4 inch. Give your hem one final press and you're done. And now that you've got a perfectly fitted tee in your wardrobe, you might be thinking about what else you can make with these knit sewing skills. If you've ever wanted to sew jersey knits with real confidence, I put everything I know into my next video, and it'll completely change how you approach knit sewing. Watch this video next.